Ah, that was an awesome piece, Russ. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Happy Monday morning. Happy February 1st. Unbelievable. We are already down 1 month for 2021, only 11 more to go. It is crazy. I want to chat with you this morning, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, about New Year's resolutions and keeping goals. Here's a crazy statistic, guys and gals. 80% of New Year's resolutions are forgotten and people fail to achieve them by February 15th. By February 15th. And if any of you set a goal, for example, to go to the gym, or you've been going to the gym for years or months or whatever, you are seeing that. You're seeing that people at the gym, who were brand new to it or recommitted to it on January 1st or whatever the first day was that the gym was open again, the place was crowded. It was difficult to get a machine, right? And you had to wait, and you had to go at different times in order to get your workout in. And now what you're starting to see is the crowd is beginning to thin. That is very normal. The question isn't, is it normal though? Really, it's how do you avoid that? See, Jim Rohn said this. I remember listening to him in his message about this, that people don't stick with things. In fact, his statement is, when you sign up for something, stay. I remember years ago when my kids were in preschool, kindergarten, elementary, and I would get up in the morning and do my thing and then take them to school and then head off to the office. I remember turning on Jim Rohn and Dennis Waitley and Zig Ziglar and Earl Nightingale. Listen to all of those guys, but I remember the one that my kids probably remembered the most was the message from Jim Rohn, which was, when you sign up, stay. My kids heard that over and over again. And Jim talked about, people who show up to sporting events, and they're watching the home team, and the home team is starting to lose. And so those fair weather fans begin to get up and migrate out of the arena, out of the stadium, because the home team is losing. And he said, isn't it amazing? They're trying to get out there to beat the crowd. And he says, isn't that one of life's greatest skills, beating the crowd? People trying to get out of there to beat the crowd, to get home on time because, the team is losing, their team is losing. But if their team was winning, would they be sitting in the stands? Would they stay? And of course, the answer is yes. So my kids heard that message over and over again. When you sign up for something, regardless of how it's going, you stay. So it was, I guess Jack at the time was probably 5 years old, maybe 4 or 5, probably 5. And I had taken Jack to a baseball game, a Bees game in Salt Lake City. It's a D League, for those of you in California. It's a D League baseball club, developmental league. And I had taken Jack to the game. George was there and a bunch of other people were there. And I was planning on staying just, for about half the game because we had some other family events going on. So we watched about half the game and I said, Jack, we got to go. And he said, okay. And we got into the car and we're pulling out of the parking lot. And he said to me, he said, Appa's dad in Korean. And I said, what's that, buddy? He said, why are we leaving? And I said, well, we got to go. We got to get home to Oma and to your sisters because we got to go do that other thing. And I don't remember what it was. And he said, but wait a minute, Appa, when you sign up for something, you're supposed to stay. And when he said that, I mean, of course, just this sense of absolute satisfaction and joy that this little 4 or 5-year-old kid had actually not only one, listened to the message, but number 2, really understood what it meant. And he was calling me on the carpet for it, that here we had gone to a game and it wasn't over and we were leaving and he was confused. He had signed up for the game and we were leaving. And he didn't understand that. So I guess my question for you is, you signed up for a game. Whatever your resolution was, and if you didn't set a resolution, you don't want to call it that, fine, don't call it a resolution. But you set some goals. I'm hoping that you had a business plan or that you have one. My question for you is, how is it going? How is your resolution going? How are your goals going? How is your business plan going? Because we're getting at a critical point, guys and gals, where most goals and resolutions die. My question for you is, again, how is it going for you? Well, what I want to talk about this morning is really how to keep it. And whether you're doing exceptionally well right now or you're struggling right now to keep those resolutions or those goals or that business plan, I want to share with you just three quick things that I think that we need to be focusing on, that I believe that if you focus on, really pay attention to these things and do these things, your goals and your resolutions will not die on the wayside. And then therefore that life that you say that you want won't die on the wayside. So number one, I want you to write this down. I want you to write down this statement. I must find a reason that is more valuable than the pain and discomfort of the price I will have to pay. See, you've got to find a reason. I have to find a reason. You have to find a reason that is more valuable than the price and the discomfort of the process to achieve the thing that we say we want. See, you will never pay the price for something that is not as valuable as the cost itself. But here's what I know, that my belief is that any of the goals that you set or the resolutions that you set probably have a value that is greater than the price to achieve it. That's probably the case. But man, is it important to make certain that your goals are so important that it doesn't matter the price, you'll pay it. It really comes down to, if there's an operating word there, it's passion. There's this deep-seated burning desire to make it happen. You might say, well, gosh, John, that's really hard for me to do when it comes to transactions, right? I can't really get passionate about closing 24 transactions or 50 transactions. And I would say that's because you haven't spent enough time really figuring out what that means to you. I mean, really figuring out what it means to you. See, I believe that those who are highly successful in life are people who are ruled by their passions. They're led by their passions. You know, I think about my life at those critical junctures where my life was not going the direction that I wanted it to go, where I was not being the person that I wanted to be. I was disappointing myself, let alone the people around me. I remember I was 25 years old. I was overweight by over 60 pounds. I had high blood pressure, I had high cholesterol, I had a very low self-image. I had bill collectors chasing me. I was behind on my promises and my obligations to creditors. The truth. That's where I was. I got to a point where I had everything packed in my car because I wasn't making enough money to afford. And so I had all my things in my car for about a month. I've been there. I've done that. I was 25 years old. And I remember I woke up one morning and I said, I'm done with this. What am I doing? And I really examined what I wanted my life to look like at that point, what I wanted. And what I realized is that I wanted a family. And so I asked myself this question, well, what would I have to do to have a family? Well, I remember at that point, you know, at that age, being overweight, having a low self-image and being broke, that when I would go out and ask a woman for a date, most of them read that energy. They saw this guy that they didn't want to go on a date with. But if I did get the sympathy yes, I certainly didn't get the second yes. I didn't get to go out on a second date. And I was tired of that. I wanted to go on a date, get engaged and get married. And I asked myself, what would I have to do differently? What would I have to change? What I realized is that I had to change the way I was treating my body. So I set this goal of losing all the weight and getting in better shape, taking better care of myself. And so I did that. And for 6 months, I was resolute and had lost over 50 pounds. And then in the next 6 months, over the course of a total of a year, I lost over 60 pounds. And it was amazing what that did for me and my self-image. And the high blood pressure went away, the high cholesterol went away, all of those things. I'm getting a report here that the sound is coming in and out. Guys and gals, can you hear me okay? How's the sound? Check, check. We doing okay? Let me know if it's okay. If it's not, let me change the way we're transmitting the sound here. How are we doing on the sound? Russ, can you guys hear me okay? Okay, good. All right, Jay,
Does
thanks.
keep kind of coming in and out, but just not. It's almost like you're receiving a text message or something and it interrupts it, or I don't know.
Oh, that's odd. Okay. All right. Well, if it keeps doing that, let me know. So there I was. And when I identified what I wanted, right, I was able to change dramatically. I went cold turkey from wanting to have burgers and fries, Frosties, and all the junk food that you could possibly imagine at any number of fast food restaurants, and doing that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. From doing that every single day to going cold turkey and getting on the right diet and the right exercise program. And I'm not saying, hey, wow, look at me. My point is this, that I was screwing up massively. The only reason that I changed is that I found a reason that was greater than the pain of giving up all of that junk food that I obviously enjoyed, that lifestyle that I obviously was enjoying because that's what I was doing. Guys and gals, we have to identify the reason. We have to be passionate about the goal or the resolution. And in other words, understand the end game. You look at a Martin Luther King level of passion, or a Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, or you look at a Mandela, you look at an Elon Musk, the guy may be quirky and you might love him or you might not like him, but at the end of the day, you got to admit the guy is passionate about what he does. He's passionate about an electric car, passionate about putting a rocket into space and getting to Mars, right? You look at Sir Edmund Hillary, he was passionate about a mountain. See, I don't care what you're passionate about, but man, you better find a reason to be passionate if you're going to achieve the things that you say that you want. So my first question for you is relative to what's your plan to maintain your goals and your resolutions and not let them die this month, is, are you passionate about them? Have you identified a reason or reasons that are greater than the price you would have to pay to achieve those goals? The second thing that I want you to write down and recognize that is going to be important for you to really maintain your goals and achieve them is be specific. Be specific about what it is you want. I think most people, as Zig Ziglar would say, are a wandering generality. They don't know specifically what they want. So as a result of that, they just simply go through life as a wandering generality, just simply doing the same thing that they did yesterday and the day before and the day before that, because that is easy. They just live habitually, as opposed to living their life based upon the life that they want to live, the dreams that they have, those big audacious goals, the things that even in their own mind that sometimes they have a difficult time saying. See, I believe that all of us can live that life, but man, we got to be passionate about it. And number two, we got to be specific about it. We got to know. So here are some things that I want you to just write down, just some very specific things to guide you through this. I want to ask you this question. Can you see it? Do you see what it is that you want? Can you see it? Have you allowed yourself to create a vision in your mind where you can see it? Do you know it? Do you know it so well because you visit it so much in your mind that it's part of who you are? It's not an issue of are you going to, it's only a question of when. See, do you see it? Do you know it? Do you feel it? See, when you share what it is that you want with yourself or with others, is it convincing? Are you convincing? Do people really believe that what you say you want, you're actually going to get it, that you actually want it? See, I think if you can answer these questions, what do I want? Why do I want it? When do I want it? And how am I going to get it? In other words, the what, why, when, and how questions. See, if you haven't answered those questions for your New Year's resolution or for your goals or for your business plan, I'm telling you, you haven't had the right conversation yet. You haven't created that solid foundation, that launch pad for that rocket ship that is you and the things you have to do to get to that planet or that star, that destination. Do you know what you want, why you want it, what you're going to have to do to get it, when you're going to get it, and how you're going to get it? Do you see it? Do you know it? Do you feel it? See, I believe that is absolutely necessary. Clarity. Clarity creates power. Guys and gals, your goals, resolutions are going to be difficult. In order to achieve those, you're going to have the power. You're going to have the persistence. You're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have the energy, the enthusiasm, the passion to achieve it. Because you're asking of yourself to do something that you've never done before. That's what the point is of a New Year's resolution or a goal, is to achieve something, to get something that you've never gotten before, or maybe to get back to where you were. It's going to require a very high price. Have you answered those questions satisfactorily? What, why, when, and how? What do I want? Why do I want it? When do I want it? And how am I going to get it? Can you see it? Do you know it? Do you feel it? You can't have what successful people have if you don't start to be who they are. Be who they are, do what they do, and you will have what they have. And then the final thing is this, and the three points that I wanted to mention to you this morning. The third point is accountability. Purely and simply enough, it is accountability. Let me read to you this quote from Dennis Waitley, one of my favorite people on personal development and goal achievement. The guy was a trained psychologist, and he worked with Olympic athletes for years in helping them to achieve their goals as world-renowned athletes. And his statement was this: there are two primary choices in life. Accept the conditions as they exist, or accept the responsibility to change them. Let me repeat that. There are two choices in life: accept conditions as they exist, or to accept the responsibility to change them. So my question for you is, what do you choose? Do you accept things as they exist, or do you accept the responsibility to change them? And April, to answer that question, it is Dennis Waitley, W-A-I-T-L-E-Y. If you've never heard of him, never listened to him, man, I'm telling you, you're missing out on a guy with a wealth of knowledge, a great temperament, a great way of delivering. Dennis Waitley. You can find him on, Spotify, Apple Music, as well as on YouTube. So guys and gals, let me just repeat this, the salient points that we've talked about. You got to find a reason that is valuable. You've got to identify and tap into your passions. And number two, you've got to be specific about what you want. What, why, when, how. And you got to see it, know it, you got to feel it. And then finally, you got to be held accountable. Are you holding yourself accountable? Permitting others to know what it is that you say that you want, your goals, your resolutions, sharing with them, your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, your coworkers, your broker, your manager, your coach, and saying, these are the things that I want, and please hold me accountable to these things. We all need that. We all have willpower. The problem with willpower is that it's like a battery. Over time, it wears out. Accountability, if you have it and it's in place, it doesn't wear out. It's the safety net. Do you have accountability in place? Guys and gals, do not let your goal, your resolution, your business plan be a victim of February, where over the next couple of weeks it dies out and you simply go back to doing what you were doing before. Now is the time to recognize, to redouble your efforts, and to get focused on what it is that you say that you want in this business and you want your life to be about. Pay attention to what it's going to take to do that. And if you do these three things, I guarantee you, you're going to be well ahead of the game and your goal of achieving the life that you want. So let's finish it up here this morning with some closing affirmations. Great job on being here this morning. It was a great group. At one point when I looked, we had over 60, I think close to 70 people. So great job, guys and gals. I love the fact that you are sticking with us. Here we go. Closing affirmations.